Konnichiwa. Welcome to the Martial Maze. Our guest today, born in Kyiv, Ukraine, began his martial training at the ripe old age of 3 months old. Yes, you heard me correct. 3 months old. That's when his father took him to his first Sambo gym. At that time, Sambo and Judo were one and the same. He has a master's degree in health and physical education earned at Ukrainian National University of Physical Education. He's a physical education teacher, a judo and sambo coach. He's the vice president of USA Sambo. Our guest today, Mikhail Kozitskiy. Здравствуйте, Mikhail. Добро пожаловать в Martial Maze. How are you doing, man?
I'm good, thank you.
Right.
How are you?
Man, you have a lovely home. All right, so we just gonna get right into it. Hey, how are you adapting to the new normal with COVID?
It was challenging, but we're still alive. I start working again in July, actually.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, are you guys are you still playing judo or?
Yes.
All right, okay. Now, you began judo when?
Good question. The first time when I attend to judo club or samba club, whatever, that in that time there was the same. When I appears at in the gym with the mat when I was 3 months old.
Oh man! Wow, three months old. That's how they're doing it.
My father actually he brought me there.
Okay. So now you were born in Russia, or
I was born in Kyiv, Ukraine.
Okay, Kyiv,
yeah,
Ukraine.
in that time there was a Soviet Union,
Okay.
and Ukraine was one of the 15 republics in that country. So like states in the United States.
Oh man. All right. So you were an infant and you started your martial journey as an infant. So it was just judo, and it stayed that way until you went into the military. Yes.
For me, judo was always first, and samba. Just my life make some turns. That's why I become a samba player as well.
Okay. All right.
So.
Because we definitely gonna get into that. I mean, the meat and potatoes of this episode.
but
we're gonna talk sambo. So
in my life, martial art. I mean, like judo and samba. This my life actually.
okay, all right. Now, do you come from a military family?
Yes, my dad was in the military for almost like 40 something years, almost 50, I guess. Yeah,
Oh.
since he was 18 years old.
Oh man.
But back in Soviet Union, we have like everybody who's turned 18, they must go to
Okay.
the military for 2 years. So each man in the country, and they basically serve in the military.
Oh, well, that's something I did not know.
But like the system has changed already in Russia, so it's the time of serving that different, and they used to be 2 years, 3 years. Right now it's 1. But still in Russia, they like young men, they go to military.
All right. Real quick, rank in judo.
My rank,
Yes, sir.
6th degree black belt.
All right, 6th degree black belt. Roke you down.
Yeah.
All right. Now, so the art sambo. Well, before we even get to sambo though, full time. So is it just judo, or do you have another art besides sambo?
No, judo and samba. That's it.
That's
Nothing
all
else.
right. So let's get into it. Let's get in deep. All right. So for a lot of our listeners out there, because most folks don't. What is sambo? Like a lot of folks don't know what sambo is. They just know it's a Russian martial art, and that's it. Can we talk a little bit? Well, what is sambo?
Sambo, like abbreviation of SAMBO. It's mean self-defense without weapon.
Okay.
So this basically that was like created by one of the person in the Russian guy who by the way he was the first Russian who get the black belt from Jigarakana,
Okay.
from Kadokan Institute. So and he created system. He actually he brought the judo to Russia, and he started teaching the people in the west side, east side of Russia,
Uh-huh.
Vladivostok. They have a club, I guess, or whatever. But the government asked him, to create the system for self-defense. for special forces, for police, for which is gonna they can use on that kind of services. So and he traveled all around the Soviet Union, which is different republics, and all Caucasian republics like Georgia, Armenia, Asian part of Russia like Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, even the western part like Moldova. They have their own folk wrestling. So and when he travel around, he collect all the best parts, combine them together on base of judo, and he create a system.
All right. Yeah. So I know that Sambo has striking in it as well. So did that come after, or because I mean, Professor Kano wasn't a striker. I mean, he did spend some time with Genshin Funakoshi, but he's not really known for striking.
I'm not sure about how was striking involved, from the beginning. But like I said before, that system was for special forces. That's how they can use everything, like striking, kicking, like throwing, whatever, like arm bars, chokes, whatever is powerful and can help the person have advantage. So, but later on, that system, as soon as I understand, to be better in each, combat sport, you need to practice, right?
Yes.
So that I guess people was like practicing, and they become a bigger society, and they wanna check who is stronger, who is better. That's how we can have different direction. Like the sport.
Yes.
As Sambo as a sport.
Yes.
So they start doing competition. Check who is stronger again.
Well, no, that makes complete sense. I mean, considering, you're not going to go to war with the guy who's going to be protecting you. So I mean,
so that's how right before the Second World War, we have like a little bit separation. That the special Sambo, which is for special forces, they become to that society, and we have open sport. And by the way, from the beginning, the Sambo was called freestyle wrestling.
Okay.
So and
now is that the same as submission wrestling, or is it just freestyle?
They call freestyle because you can do whatever you want. You can throw, you can do some grappling stuff and submissions, whatever. I guess that's why they call freestyle wrestling. And by the way, when my dad started practicing, he started freestyle wrestling, and then his coach, who was like his coach, actually, he is like part of my family.
Okay.
That guy, he was like one of the 5 people who was the first direct students of Shepkov. Shepkov, that guy who created Sambo.
Oh.
So, and Roman Shkolnikov, his name, and that guy who was the coach of my dad, and I knew him like when I was a kid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, personally, yeah.
So, see, look at that. You're just dropping gems left and right already, right out the gate.
I had the chance to touch the base, like roots of Sambo.
Oh, yeah, yes, you did.
Yeah. And I call him grandfather. As like my, I don't know, I remember him since I remember myself. That's why I probably feel like he's a part of my family. Oh. That's why I call him. Granddad.
Yes.
So and he was like a really nice person. All his family is good. He's intelligent, quiet person. He used to be. He passed away in '83, I guess. And the last time I saw him in Moscow, he came and he called us. My mom took me, to the place where he was there and his relatives, and I saw him last time. I was a school student in that time. So, by the way, about Shkolnikov, he is the person who started promoting Sambo. He's like father of Sambo in Ukraine.
Okay.
And he's the person who created the Sambo uniform.
Really important. That was yes. I was about to ask. That was my next question. I had noticed that the big difference between the Sambo uniform traditional judoka gear, or even that of Brazilian jiu-jitsu, is that you're not really wearing a gi. It's like you have a top and wrestling bottoms.
Exactly.
You're not really wearing a singlet either, but yeah. Now, why is that?
Really, I don't understand why. Just
Right.
to look different than judo, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think so. Because they were like in that time, Japan was like enemy to Soviet country, like in the beginning, and even before when we have a Russian Empire, when the Tsar was exist, like Nikolai II,
Yes.
the Japan had a war. That's why that person, Vasily Oshchepkov, was sent to that Christian Orthodox mission in Japan to start learning Japanese language. Because in that time in Russia we don't have that much interpreters in Japan.
Okay.
So his mission was that, not judo, of course, and become, when he was a young kid, like young man over there, he started going to Kodokan to, to do some judo.
Wow, man, yo, that is just that's the, it's amazing how much sometimes we forget our world history. Because I didn't even put that together. That that would make sense because we were fighting Nazis, and Japan was on the wrong side of that at that point in time. Well, they were doing what they needed to do, I guess. I don't know. I'm not gonna get into that. So what if any are the actual differences? What separates Sambo from the judo and maybe even BJJ? Because I know I'm going to get asked that question, so I have to ask it. If any.
Obviously, seeing difference for regular people who don't understand anything in sport. This look, obviously. You see, my grandfather, like in sport, Roman Shkolnikov did that problem on purpose to separate.
Well, I mean, that's kind of why Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has changed, even the way they even the spelling and everything. They're trying to rebrand something and move it as far away from.
We don't need the spelling because like all names in Russian in Sambo. We work right now. I mean, like, why I'm saying we, because I'm part of International Sambo Federation. I'm part of that technical commission in FIAS, and we had the issue, like how to present the throws and then change the names because of the Russian names, as you see, it's really hard to pronounce. Even though pronounce, not even read.
I was about to say, even saying hello.
Yeah, it was like last summer when we have the quarantine. I was in Florida for a month, and we had a phone conversation with the director of technical commission, Dmitry Maximov, who is Olympian in judo for the Russian Federation, and he 2 times Sambo world champion. So we had that conversation, and we spoke with some people over here, American, like a real American, not Russian immigrants, and we tried to implement that all names between Russian and English, community.
That kind of segues into an offshoot of the of that original question.
Yeah. Another difference, I understand.
Well, no, I was gonna say, so I maybe it's because I was watching the wrong video. So I did a lot of video and stuff like that, and there were a lot of the judo throws I recognized, but then there were some throws I've never seen before. There's this one that looks like you kind of scoop slam the guy. Now, does that come from wrestling, or is that just a mod of a Kozutskiy of a different judo technique?
I understand. Do you remember I said that right, a couple minutes ago? So the Sambo was created by a person who was traveling on the base of judo. He got involved some folk wrestling. I guess that kind of parts become from all different.
Okay, all right. So
like,
because I guess maybe I'm not asking that question clear enough. So I'm gonna try to reword it. So, what are the throws that are outside of the Goki no Waza? that are in Sambo? Is there a set name for those throws, or is it just
some names of the really not meaning anything. Like
Okay.
for example, we have a knee bar,
Mhm.
which I will call by name of the bird, canarica.
What did you just say again?
How you can translate that? It's really hard. For example, we have a similar situation with the English name of thrones. Like for example, kataguruma we call fireman's carry.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but in Russian we call that melnitsa, which is in English windmill.
Actually, you know what? But that makes complete sense.
Yeah, because you know like,
Because
that,
you move like a windmill. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I said that.
So
yeah.
that's why we decided this summer to give it to that throw
Okay.
original name, windmill.
Yeah, windmill. Yeah.
Why not?
Well, yeah, okay, because I'm gonna get into that. Let's talk
So,
about that. Because so one of the really cool things I always said about judo is the names of the throws, because you can be in France and if somebody said kataguruma, you
Everybody
instantly
knows.
know what they're talking about.
Mhm.
However, when you're teaching the things that aren't named, like transitions, butterfly sweeps, what I was doing something the other day, and somebody said, one of the guys I worked at does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's like, "Oh, that's an omoplata," and I'm like, "Really? This is." I just thought this was a reversal to my leg, ashi, and I start going into the Japanese, and he's like, "No, that's what I know it as here." So, how important is it to utilize the terminology, the traditional air quotations terminology, or is it more important to use the language of the current tongue where everybody's going to understand what you're saying? And I completely
I think it's important, but when I come here, like I give you some example. Like if you know the throws, you can. I mean, if you're professional and you know technique, you can teach someone. You can explain how to do it without any words.
Okay.
I mean, that's my thoughts about that. But of course, it's much better and much faster to have, like a system which is going to be understandable for everyone.
Yes.
Like for example, like Japanese language is not that easy. And pronunciation is not that easy, right? But still, the whole world learning that.
Mm-hmm.
Russian language much harder than Japanese, I guess, and especially with the pronunciation.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why we, like right now, International Sambo Federation, they work hard to force all that system, like all the names and the rank system. We just almost got a new rank system, which has never been before. Like we never had the system how to, like promote the people in Sambo. We just got that also last year.
Okay, so wait a minute. So if I'm understanding you correctly, so there was no rank system. There was just
There was a rank system in Russia, like in the old Soviet republics, because like historically, if you're gonna see that, I'm gonna give you example of like which is I saw by myself. Like I was like a witness of that. And before 1973, we have only Sambo inside of the country in Soviet Union. And the system was like all like promotion system like we had for Soviet Union. This ranks like third, second, first in juniors, then third, second, first in seniors, candidate of master of sport, then we have master of sport of international class, and the highest one was the honored master of sport. And the same we had for the coaches. We have a level of coaches, like second, first, whatever, like that. But this like low level. And then you have a honored coach of Republic, like state, for example, here, and then honored coach of Soviet Union. This is the highest, like level of the coaches. To have that level, you need to prepare the world champion or couple times world champion. So that system was for each individual sport, not only for Sambo. not only for judo, not only for swimming. Everybody have the same.
Okay.
And I can show you how this look like. Documents, they give you a pin with a number. You have your individual number, which is never gonna repeat, and you have a small book, which is have your picture, stamp of Ministry of whatever. They changed that ministry a couple times already. Minister of Sport and Physical Education and Tourism, whatever they called. So basically that was the system, but we never had the system like belts.
Okay.
Even since '73 we have a federation of judo. We never had that belt system. So when for example, when I was a kid, you can come to my dojo and you can see any kind of belts, like mostly white, because the gi comes with the white belt, but the gi was like real rare in that time. You was like happy, if you have a gi. So some kids, they use the old jackets without their buttons.
Yeah, look, I mean, because it was the knowledge that mattered. I mean, that's I get that we have the belt system and it's really geared around education and for ways for somebody to learn their time and grade. But well, you know this better than anybody. Look, it don't matter what that belt says. It's your level of ability. You know what I'm saying? So.
But the only thing, like everybody knew that black belt, it's something.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to bring it back.
Nobody can wear the black belt.
Yes.
They sometimes can wear a red belt, because in Sambo you can you need to have a red or blue, just like we have in the judo, white and blue gi. So and it used to be a red sash, remember?
Yes.
So that's why we have a lot of kids who wear the red belt, which is in judo much higher than a regular black belt, right? So, but black belt was your, if you become a master of sport, you got that pin and that, document, then only you can wear the black belt. Otherwise, nobody can use it.
No, that makes complete sense. Yeah, no, I'm right there with you on that one. Konnichiwa, this is Israel Lopez Sensei. If you like listening to the Martial Maze, you might seriously want to think about becoming a supporter of this podcast. To do so, simply click on the support button. With a small monthly donation of $1, you will help support future episodes. Thank you once again for your support, and thank you for listening. We talk all the time here in the Martial Maze about how there are times where people get caught up in the commercialization of these different arts, and that it takes away, and the way it hinders, it hurts the art itself. Or whether you want to focus on the sport side of it and just the sport, but when we get to the politics, if you will, of it, that kind of sometimes hurts an organization, especially if the politics don't go so good. Kind of dealing with that now. All right, so let's keep ourselves going though. All right, so
we forget about difference between judo and sambo,
Oh no, we're still talking about that.
Yeah.
We haven't left. No, we're still there. Because it brings me to one of the really cool things that I saw in Sambo was you can attack the legs. Yeah, I mean you can not only can you attack the legs, but you can submit with the legs. And I'm like, yeah, gold. Go ahead.
Yeah, that another difference between judo and sambo, and especially in the modern judo, because we lost a lot of technique, and this the difference between sambo and judo. You can attack the legs, you can touch the legs. In judo, you not.
That's a Hansokamake.
And also one of the difference, it's in the gripping. So in judo, you're allowed to have some grips just for a couple seconds, right? To not gonna be penalized. In sambo, you can have a blocks, whatever, a one side grip, two belts, two hands on the belt until the end of the match. But the only thing you have to attack. You have to show the fighting. Like you don't have to just stay. So this is another difference. Obviously, some rules. So in most seen and most different one, it's asaikomi. When in judo, when somebody grab your legs, this is taketa, right? There's not asaikomi anymore. In sambo, it's still asaikomi. As soon as you control the person chest to chest, you're good. Even between the legs, like in the jiu-jitsu, they call that guard position.
Guard position.
If between the legs you pin the person chest to chest, you hold. In 20 seconds, you get 4 points.
No, I mean, again, that's one of those ones that makes sense. Look,
this is a big difference between judo and sambo, because some people, they frustrated, especially like young people. They not,
well, because the whole point is to not be in that position. I feel like as a competitor, you're like, well, look, you shouldn't be there, or you need to work how to get out of there.
And the last difference, this chokes and leg locks. So in judo, you're allowed to do chokes, but no leg locks. In sambo, it's opposite. You can do any leg locks, but no chokes. The only.
No, wait, but why is that?
I don't know.
Is that? Well, no. Well, hold on.
Really, I don't know. Nobody think about that.
Yeah, no one knows, because I'm like, because I feel like leg locks can end a career a whole lot faster than putting someone to sleep.
But really, we think, that federation think about like choking, to add choking maybe, maybe sooner or later it's gonna happen. I tell you that, in this century, we have a sambo, we have a new sambo. It's like combat sambo, which is more like MMA. So in this sport, in combat sambo, you're allowed to do everything, chokes as well. Chokes, arm bars, leg locks. It's some addition to the sambo.
It sounds like that's been sweeping the free judo, right? That the rules are different with free judo.
Yeah, but this official sambo, like in FIAS and under.
Oh, so it's under the same federation.
Yeah, under the same federation, we have like 3 different sports.
Okay.
So basically, it's like, for example, swimming, right? It's not only swimming. We have like 1,000 meters, 50 meters, butterfly, like stroke, whatever, whatever you're gonna call. And same in sambo, we have like three different sports. Sport sambo between men and women, like men's sambo, women's sambo. We have a combat sambo, which is more like MMA.
So combat sambo is the one I think that most people actually see.
Yeah,
I mean,
even
though,
most people know.
You listen, man. I mean, look, that's I watched hours of video of it. Now I'm like, wow, that's rough.
Yeah, right now, by the way, that most well-known MMA fighter, he's a world sambo champion in combat sambo.
Yeah,
Khabib Nurmagomedov.
That's what I'm saying. So
that's why everybody knows sambo. Like before, for example, we start from Oleg Taktarov. When Oleg start winning the UFCs, everybody knew him, and everybody start talking about sambo. Then we had the Fedor Emelianenko, last emperor, right?
Well, I think that has a lot more to do with the mystique, if you will. That's why I was so excited to have you on as a guest, because it's really hard to find sambo. I mean, there are places that claim they air quotations that they sambo and they study it, and then you get there and you kind of
And it's the biggest and painful problem for myself. Like when you look around, some people they have a goodwill for that. They want to promote sambo. They like sambo, but they don't know now like anything about sambo. They never learned that from the real people. I saw some situation when somebody came from Russia and they just wanna be recognized by someone, and they just start talking stories about themselves. They claim they was like national team coaches, but this not right. They just simply lying. So that's why I make my Facebook page which is I mentioned that to you previously, right? And then history of Soviet and Russian judo and sambo. Because I was really tired to see that kind of people around. So my first post was when I make a picture of myself. You know, I mean like my own documents, and I wrote some explanation to the people. If somebody, there was like part of that. If somebody tell you they world champion or whatever, you know, like on the European champion, is just ask them to show that kind of documents, because that kind of documents is gonna prove they legit.
Well, you know, I was about to get into that real quick, because part of the Marshall Maze is getting folks to understand how to navigate, how to know the difference between somebody who actually knows and somebody who's pretending to know. That we. I'm not going to segue too far off this, but we had this conversation about the American Krav Maga and having that same kind of issue, because you got folks that are claiming to have learned Krav Maga and all that other good stuff, but then you find out later they didn't really learn Krav Maga.
We have a lot of people from different sports, like in judo, in sambo, who never did judo, even, you know, like as a kid. They never did that, and I knew that kind of examples. And they own the clubs, they teach the kids, but this is simply dangerous. If you don't know what to do, you don't have abilities to teach something. How you can take small kids and teach them whatever, you know, like sport? You don't know how to do it. How you can teach?
Well, that does bring me to a question I get often asked a lot. I myself, but have learned this, but I do get asked this question. We do know that there are folks that are amazing competitors. They were just amazing Olympians and stuff, but they're horrible teachers. So what sets a standard? I mean, as far as the Sambo Federation is concerned, is there a standard that says, hey, look, you have to be able to do X, Y, Z in order to teach?
You know, like in Russia, we had a much easier situation. You know, like if you know, like you desire to be a teacher, right? Like coach, and you think this, you know, like your life, and you wanna, you know, like work, you know, like have that as a professional, you know, like to work at that. Then you have to choose to go to physical education university. This is the problem. We don't have that kind of, you know, like universities here, or even program in university to be a coach. So during that 5 years, which is you take to graduate, you learn a lot of stuff, starting from easiest one, like body of the, you know, like the human body, until psychiatry, you know, like all that kind of things. All different sports. You have to learn all different sports. You know, to me, to finish my, you know, like university, to graduate, you know, like I took all different sports. That's why I can be, by my diploma, I can be a teacher in a school of physical education, or a coach in all wrestling, which is, you know, like, I mean, in Russia it's like different than translation. You know, like wrestling we call judo wrestling, sambo wrestling. Like this is the, you know, like one of the problem which is we have with the promotion of samba through the history. You know, so but in my diploma I can be a coach in freestyle, Greco-Roman, samba, and judo. So and. To return back for that translation, we call in Russian language wrestler. It's all martial arts. We don't have that many martial arts. We don't have that karate or whatever. You know, boxing is excluded. It's different. Boxing is boxing. Freestyle.
Damn right it is.
Freestyle. Greco-Roman, Sambo, and Judo. We call everything as wrestling. You know, and that's how I think that's how Sambo become a part of FILA. International Wrestling Federation in the beginning. So the first world championship was under FILA, 1973, in Tehran, Iran. So and because we call Sambo wrestling.
Well, okay, but look,
and that's how, you know, like a lot of wrestlers become, you know, like Sambo players in the United States.
Well, it's not that huge of a stretch. When you come from what I can understand, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but if I have a knee down in judo and I want to learn Sambo, it really wouldn't be that much of a stretch to start training Sambo because
Judo is different. Judo is like twin brother to Sambo.
okay.
You know,
So
like,
so how hard would it be? Let's say if I said tomorrow, you know what? Yeah, I'm digging it. I'm gonna have to learn Sambo. So how hard would that be for myself as a judo practitioner to transition myself over to Sambo?
My opinion again, like this is really easy. Just to understand the difference, you'll learn some like exactly Sambo thing, like leg locks, at least defense. Because when I start competing Sambo, I was like black belt in judo already.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I compete a little bit before, like couple kids tournaments, but I'm not thinking about that. I'm talking about like serious level.
Mm-hmm.
So my first high level tournament was military nationals for the whole militaries, like in the country for juniors under 21 years old, and I won. I took first place. So, but to be a judo player only, I never, can practice Sambo. I just changed my uniform. And by the way, like I took bronze medal at the military nationals in Minsk, in Belarus, in judo. And I called my dad and tell him, listen, I took bronze. He said, you know what? Go to Kiev. Like in 2 days we're gonna have a nationals in Sambo over there, like military nationals. Yeah. I took the ticket instead of to go home to Moscow from Minsk. I took the ticket to train and I went to Kiev and compete. And I, like in the semi-final, I beat the guy who was a world champion last year.
Oh, so see.
Well, can you imagine? And like for me, it was like I have one guy who make me problems to fight. Like he was like, I mean, that was the hardest fight, but all others I beat really easy. Like because of judo, I guess. I was like much faster, and my technique was much more clear.
Okay. Well, I guess that's my point I'm making. I mean, my daughter, even I wrestled in high school, but then the judo came kind of at the same time. But so my daughter, when she ended up taking she did bronze and silver, and she wrestled in school, and one of the hardest transitions for her was in judo, we don't, even if we're let's say for Newaza, boom, we're down and you're on your back, it's not really that big of a deal. That was the hardest transition to her but she won almost all her matches on throw. She'd throw, pin, right the case of, bam, there it was the pin, man, there it was. The only thing she had to be careful with was Sewanagi. That anytime she did Sewanagi, she had to do it really light and kind of roll into because you have to have the control here in America. You can't leave the feet like that without control. So.
Compared to wrestling, judo and wrestling, I tell you that we're losing a lot of from judo. I'm talking about the judo. Like we're losing a lot of talented athletes at the end of school years when they're in the seniors. Like in the high school, because wrestling part of NCAA, right? And they give them
a
scholarship.
Yeah,
yes, of course. For a lot of parents and all kids, this is really important. And I knew that as a coach who ran the club since 2001, so 20 years already. Like we always losing the kids, good kids, who's good in judo. Because judo make a good addition for the wrestling. But if the kids start practicing in wrestling, we're losing judo. Like when they do cross training, because like wrestling more physical and right? In judo you have to be more artistic. Like you have to move faster. Because of judo-gi, you don't have to control the body. You need to control judo-gi and body by the judo-gi, right?
Yes.
So this is the biggest problem for you, American judo. It's wrestling so much popular here and everywhere.
Well, because again, it's in every school.
Of course, yeah. So. But this is the question: why we're not an NCAA huge sport in the world.
Look. Would you like the short answer? I'm gonna give you the short answer, and if anybody can definitely chime in, hit me up. You know how to find me. Marshall Mays. We're not hard to find. It's because of the commercialization of the art here in the United States. Because it is commercial, it is on the same caliber as any karate school. And so that's why. I mean, that's the main reason. And again, if we had a set standard, and there is kind of to a degree, and everybody came under like that one umbrella, like the NCAA and stuff like that. Boom, like so. Right now, there's 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 different judo federations out there right now.
3.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about the free judo that just kind of popped up. So that's because they're doing it, and it's gaining. It's gaining. There are a lot of people that are starting to play in that arena, based upon because they're a lot more koshin, a lot more. There's just a lot more going on and the different rule changes and stuff like that. So, but right now you got 3, right? So let's just say if we're going to take those 3, you have 3 different federations making a decision about what legitimate judo is, and if they all decided at some point, hint, you guys got together and put it under one roof, you know what I'm saying? Again, Jitake, hopefully I'm saying that right, Jitake, and looked out for the betterment of everyone who practiced judo, then maybe we could achieve that, you know what I'm saying? So
I heard that from my ex-partner in my first club, which is we created, and I was a president of this club, Liberty Bell Judo, Judo Club, not Judo Tournament.
Yes.
Lou Moerman, he told me, like USA Judo was basically inside of NCAA, but all of a sudden when, everything was done, and somebody said, you know what, we don't need it. And they just said, no, we're not gonna go with you. So there was like huge mistake, for the promotion of judo everywhere.
Well, because it was. I mean, it was in a lot of shows back in the day. Even the Covenant Judo Chop. Like it was in a. There were a lot of There was a famous movie star back in the day, black and white films. They did a whole thing with judo. Judo was really big here in the United States.
Yeah, I heard that when like in the nationals they had a lot of people. Right now we barely see like 10 people in the weight division, which is like unbelievable. I don't understand how this can happen. The judo number 2 sport in the world. In Europe and Japan, it's everywhere. It's really popular. Europe is crazy about judo.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. But you can't even imagine. We have a 2 times Olympic gold medalist, Kyla Harrison, and we don't have anything out of it. In Ukraine,
yeah, and she left the MMA.
Because MMA gives her money, but we don't have to blame her.
Well, we're not, but we're just saying that Ronda Rousey,
she did everything. What she can do for American judo. But really, I can compare Ukraine, much smaller country. They have a Zantaraya, and they have a Daria Biladit. Right now in Ukraine, boom on judo, right? A lot of people, a lot of kids in judo. You can't even imagine how big is the nationals right now over there. They promoting, right? They promoting the heroes. They, Georgi Zantaraya, he was my guest. He was here in my club like 5 years ago. He's in 60 kilos. He's a world champion, and he's 6 times world medalist in that lightweight divisions, which is really hard. Daria Biladit, beside that she is like great athlete, she's model. She's look really good. She's like example for all young girls. She is the youngest world champion in judo, and 2 times world champion actually, right?
Oh wow!
Look at her, like on Instagram or Facebook. And by the way, her dad, I compete with her dad. He's much younger than me, but we fight together at the Ukraine Nationals. When I retired in 95 and returned back in 97, and they called me to Ukraine. So I compete. I took second once and finished it.
Well, I gotta definitely bring us back to before I get accused of having a judo episode masquerading as Sambo. So let's bring ourselves back to Sambo, because it's clear we both love judo. We're horrible.
Yeah.
All right, so talk to me about talk to our listeners a little bit more about the Sambo Federation. I mean, how does that work here in America? How does more people find Sambo? Because again, like I was saying earlier, there's a bit of a mystique with Sambo.
I understand. Look, I am a vice president of USA Sambo, and basically I created federation in 2011. In 2013, we was recognized by International Sambo Federation. Before us, Sambo was exist for a long time in the United States, and there was like good time, for the Sambo in the United States. By the way, one of the former president and general secretary of USA Judo, Ron Tripp, he was a world champion in Sambo.
Oh, did not know
And
that.
not only him, we have like Gibson, the good wrestler. We have like Nelson. We have some guys who did pretty good at the Sambo world. In modern Sambo, we have Nina Kutrakeli, Jim Herbeck student. She won 3 times bronze medal at the World Championship. She won 2 World Cups in Sambo
Wait a minute, there's a world championship for Sambo?
every year. Even
wait a
2020,
minute.
we have a World
How
Championship.
come we don't know about this, sir?
Because
Yeah, you're under the gun on this one. How come we're not? Well, I'm just saying. I mean, how can we get a lot more folks to start recognize? I mean, again, because unless here in the United States, it seems I could be wrong, but it seems that we don't have enough of the Sambo.
we don't have enough clubs, we don't have enough visibility. It is really important. We have problems with the International Judo Federation. I don't know why this is a problem. I don't see any real problem. I think it's just business-wise, but I don't understand why this happening. We only can help judo, and judo can help Sambo, and we can give it to our athletes more abilities to fight international-wise. Because look, my first idea when I become, to promote Sambo here in 2010. How many people go to the World Championship from each country in judo? In that time was only 1, right? So right now you can take 2, but not in each weight division. So what about another 3 people who staying on the podium? They losing here. They obviously they compete in judo, but
Yeah, but they're
International-wise.
international.
why not? We can take all other guys, like for example the bronze medalist or whatever. Take them to Sambo World and let them have a chance to fight.
Sure, another shot. Yeah.
Which is again these two sports like brothers. Absolutely the same, a little bit different rules. But sometimes, for example, in my case, when I start competing in Sambo, I feel that I'm weak on the groundwork, and especially because Sambo have big variety of attacks of legs and arms.
Yes.
For submission, right? And thank you again. I'm saying that again, and again to the head coach of the junior national team, Yuri Fyodorovich Borisovkin. Maybe somebody gonna hear that name and tell him about this. I mentioned that because I'm really appreciate he forced me to learn more groundwork. I'm the talking about myself. I like more standing fight. I'm more throwing person, and to be a smart coach, he saw that I have a good abilities, as an athlete, and he took one of the best groundwork person in the senior team as a playing coach to junior team, and he forced me to work with him every day. So our system was national team camp was 3 weeks, 21 days. Every day we have 2 practices, and every practice I was with him one-on-one.
Yeah, I was about to say, man.
Can you imagine, 21 days? Let's say we have 4 days off. 18 days multiplied by 2. So this 36 practices on the ground in one shot. I feel after that really confident in the ground. Even if I'm not attacking, I know how to defend myself. Plus, I learned some stuff, which is, like if I'm gonna show that right now, everybody gonna question, like, what is that? Because, like I learned from a real good person.
Well, yeah, I'm like, wow.
Couple of them, I still remember that,
I'm glad you got the complete art. I always forget how fortunate I was. Like I told you, I learned it as a martial art. So Newaza was definitely, that was a, look, man, where the fights? You get into a fight and I hit you with the earth and it didn't end the fight. Well, now I still have to fight. And then more importantly, if you were holding me down, I need to be able to get up because your buddies might be coming. you know, I'm like, yeah, man, wow. Well, thank you, sir, for giving him that kind of training so that he could do that ground game.